Hi guys, my name is Mora and welcome to another episode of Getting Personal, where I gather for you different stories from Reddit. We've all, I'm sure, in our lifetime have experienced a couple of absurd situations. So today I figured we will take a look at a couple of stories from Reddit where people are just being absolutely wild for barely any reason at all. Without further ado, let's just dive in and see what people are up to in this life. Nothing good, as usual. Am I the for asking my brother not to wear a pirate costume to my wedding and then being annoyed when he did it anyway? My brother's wife called me up to tell me they were getting me personalized M&Ms as a wedding present. Cool. Oh, and by the way, since you're having a yacht wedding, Greg will be wearing a pirate costume. I said, please no. I love how casually she just mentioned that. She's just like, oh yeah, and by the way, he's gonna come in a ridiculous costume to your wedding, because why not? Not like asking or anything, not like it's your day, right? But he showed up in a pirate costume exactly like the Johnny Depp Pirates of the Caribbean one anyway, complete with fake dreadlocks. If he had done this to any of my older sisters on their weddings, they would have cried and freaked out. Or if I had embarrassed him on his wedding, he would have flipped out. But I'm seen as the wacky artistic little sister that everyone can do whatever to. And he's so sensitive that everyone in my family indulges him and never calls him out. Then I got to look like a bridezilla in front of my other guests for being very visibly not thrilled after he interrupted my first dance with my new husband to twirl me around the dance floor against my will while he swung a sword around. Okay, I got mad, so I'm gonna say my thing to just vent. I would have kicked him out at the start of the wedding. He would not be sitting there and he would not make it to the first dance. But if he did that during my first dance, he would be escorted out. I would never see him again. I would legit not speak to him ever again. What the actual hell? I'm speechless. These are the kind of stories that make me very happy I am an only child, honestly, because I have like no problems with sibling rivalry. I don't have to share anything with anyone. I don't have to pretend I like my sibling who is awful, for example, because a lot of people who have siblings that I know, they legit hate them, but they have to pretend they don't because, you know, it's your brother and it's your sister. You have to take care of them. I'm very happy I don't have that. I know there are very, very nice, wholesome, beautiful brother, sister, and sibling relationships, but the amount of terrible ones is sometimes overwhelming. One of my new relatives acted like I was being uptight, told me she found the pirate costume funny. Her too. I didn't bother to explain to her, yeah, well, it's not your big expensive event with your family being disrespectful as usual. I am worried that I'm too sensitive and uptight when it comes to my family and the way I sometimes feel disrespected by them. I wish I could lighten up. Honey, you have to cut them off. It seems that they gaslit you into thinking that you're being the drama queen and that you should take all the they want to give you just because it's just all in good fun. We're gonna humiliate you in good fun. We're gonna ruin your wedding for fun. Because I do not believe this was not malicious. I do not believe your brother respects you. I do not believe your brother wants what's best for you. I do not believe he wants to support you. So no, you don't have to lighten up when somebody is humiliating you like that. Protect your boundaries, because otherwise they will keep doing this your whole entire life. And do you want that? No, you don't. Nobody wants that. So not the at all. I would genuinely just cut them off, because yikes. Am I for deciding to be a princess for an evening? I, 31 female, have been going through a lot in life currently. I've been unable to find work, I'm barely pulling together my rent, I've been seeing a resurgence of my depression. I'm fighting tooth and nail to keep going. The other night was karaoke night and my friends, myself, and my niece / old roommate, who we will call D, 23 female, were there. Earlier this week, I had found a set of Disneyland ears, a very close friend got me when we went. They are Disney princess ears, and he literally got them to remind me I'm always a princess. This is so sweet. They were in my car when I parked at karaoke and decided I really needed the reminder. I decided to wear them. Dee saw my ears and was immediately annoyed. She asked why I was wearing that. I told the truth that I just needed to feel good for a night, and all of our group saw that it made me happy and thought it was a fun thing. Dee was not at all cool with it. Whenever other regulars made comments about my princess ears, Dee would cut in and say she would be wearing hers, but they were packed for a move. Then our friend who is the KJ called me up as princess name, and Dee lost her mind. She was angry and accused me of being an attention that I wasn't and never would be a princess, that I was being completely rude to her. Well, she has a lot of problems, it seems like, and cannot for the life of hers take anyone getting a little bit more attention than her. Never you mind, girl, she seems absurd. This is where I might be the I told her that if me wearing Disney ears with princess theme bothered her, she was giving off straight evil stepsister vibes. Nice. True though. Her boyfriend asked if maybe she could wear them for a song, and I said not a chance in hell. She's not a princess tonight, and I didn't really trust her to give them back. They are very important to me. The friend that got them for me is my literal best friend, and we won't ever get to go to Disneyland again together. Most of my friends think I wasn't overly mean, but some think I should have worn the ears for a song and put them back in my car. So am I the Added for clarity, some context I didn't think to include. She's an only child and has rubbed our group the wrong way for a year being entitled. Most gave up trying to say thanks to her about it unless it's necessary. She's the youngest in our group and we all figured she'd grow out of this behavior. You are threatened by someone doing just what they want and trying to treat themselves in a special way, and you lose your absolute shit over this. The girl needs a therapist. OP, you have nothing to be worried about, not the I mean, the level of self-involvement your friend has is just astonishing, and it is upsetting because not all only children are like that. Not all of us are just straight up spoiled. Also, this story, I picked it specifically because I think we should all embrace this mindset of if you want, you can treat yourself for an evening or a couple of evenings, however long you want, to being a princess or a prince, whatever you want to be. Just be that. Don't deny yourself the pleasure of having a bit of fun, returning to your childhood self, and just, being a little bit silly. We should do that more often. Treat yourself like a princess, preferably every single day. And people like this D person who cannot take somebody else's self-expression. Next story is a Karen who lives on the same street as me has apparently been calling the cops on me for over a month. I'm male 30s, work from home, and during my lunches I like going on a walk around my neighborhood while listening to music. It's my form of meditation and I do it daily. But apparently for the last months, every time I walk by the home of one of my neighbors, female 50s, she lives 6 to 8 houses down from me at the end of my block. The lady has been calling the cops every time I walk past her home while on the public sidewalk. However, I've never talked to this neighbor, nor does she know my name or exactly where I live, so when the cops do show up, she has little info to give them other than me being a suspicious person. This reached a boiling point yesterday when I walked by her house and she literally ran down the sidewalk after me, grilling me on who I was, what I was doing, and where I'm going. I asked her the same questions back and she grew indignant. She explained that she has been trying to talk to me about who I was for the last months and I've been acting suspicious because I always ignore her trying call out to me. I wear large noise cancelling headphones on my walks, the earmuff kind. It's not that I don't like talking to people, I just like zoning out and listening to music on my walks. I tried to explain that to her, but she refused to believe me. Of course she did. She then tried to lecture me about how I should be more open and social with my neighbors. When I shrugged my shoulders about it, she lectured me about the dangers of walking around wearing large headphones that cancel noise, but by then I was annoyed, grew lippy, and said that's none of her business or her problem, which is very, very true. She then went nuts, telling me that I should be at work instead of living off the government, being a socialist, how I probably like wearing masks too, and just a whole bunch of other incoherent talking point. What is wrong with her? I don't understand. I told her I work from home and she said that doesn't count. Sure, he probably earns more than her, like by a lot, but that doesn't count, right? Then when I laughed in her face and walked away, she threatened to report me to the HOA. I continued to laugh and told her she needed meds and a hobby and kept walking. She continued to follow and scold me until I reached my house, in which she announced, "Ha, I gotcha. Now I know where you live. I'm going to make your life a living hell just like you made mine." Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that you got so worked up about a person just randomly passing your house that your life became a living hell? She does need at least one hobby, but it seems like she has too much free time, so maybe like 5 hobbies. That will do. 5 minutes later, the cops are knocking on my door asking me if I threatened her. They then clued me in that she was bringing them out literally every other day about a suspicious man walking around with big headphones and not acknowledging anyone, because that is a crime, ladies and gents. One day he's not acknowledging everyone, and the next day he's gonna murder you. It's all connected. I explained my side to them, and they seemed to believe me over her because the cops have dealt with this lady before. She apparently has a notorious reputation for being 911 happy, as the police called it. However, they couldn't do anything about it because there was no evidence other than our he said, she said testimonies, and suggested I find a different walking route to avoid any further drama. I'm kind of debating instead on looking into a restraining order if she continues. I'm not changing my walking route just to appease some bored housewife bully who sees me as everything that's wrong with America. And yes, of course, I live in Florida. I'm so dumbfounded by this confrontation. First of all, yeah, I'm very not surprised this story is coming from Florida. Secondly, I would also look into a restraining order because this bullshit. What is even happening? You cannot even walk on the public sidewalk now because some weird Karen is having some trouble? No, this is just weird and not normal at all. Imagine her reaction if he actually served her one. Her head would probably just explode because not only he's not being open and friendly with the neighbors, he's also actively trying to legally distance himself from her. I think it would be beautiful. I would actually pay money to see that moment. Sometimes it just astonishes me how some people like think they have so much power and influence over everybody else that they can go around and just tell people what to do and interrogate people about what they're doing and complain about things they don't like as if their opinion matters in any way. Anyway, let's move to the next story, and it is my boyfriend broke up with me for lying about pooping. I, 27 female, was seeing a guy, 31 male, for about 6 months before we decided to make things official a month ago. He broke up with me a couple days ago for lying about 2 situations which are so absurd to me I can't wrap my brain around it. For context, he's told me that he's having trouble trusting people because of our toxic toxic work environment. Yes, we're coworkers. Red flag, not good. We constantly need to be on our feet because our boss is a snake who likes to play psychological games with people. Anyways, he said because of the stress work is putting on him, he's finding it difficult to trust people and needs to make sense of situations to believe them. There were two recent situations that didn't make sense to him and caused him to distrust/break up with me. One, a week ago at my friend's house, we went into the bathroom together to partake in an activity. I stayed in to pee and he went in immediately after me to pee as well. When he came out, he accused me of pooping in the bathroom right before he went in. Sir, is that a crime? What is she supposed to do if she needs to go? I'm very confused, but yeah, anyway, not even the point of the story. I laughed and said I didn't because I didn't, and he accused me of lying, and it turned into a big fight about him not being able to trust me. His reasoning was the bathroom didn't smell when he left and it did when he went back in after me. I said maybe I just smell like shit, and that was not logical enough answer for him, but after hashing things out a bit, we got past it. I would break up with him because if I had to go through a serious discussion of something like this, I would be like, no thank you. I don't want to talk to you ever again because this is ridiculous. What do you mean? Do I have to explain myself for pooping or like allegedly pooping? What is going on? A few days later, we went on a 3-day trip and had a great time together. 2, when we returned from the trip, he noticed that the toy figures on my bookshelf were knocked over. I told him that I hit the shelf with my bag as I was running around my apartment before our trip because I was late in picking him up. He accused me of lying because it didn't make sense to him that all of them could fall down at once based on me running into the shelf. Someone must have come into my apartment between the barbecue and our trip and set them that way, which turned into an accusation of me being into one of my close guy friends and cheating on him between the barbecue and our trip. Well, he would probably win the Guinness record for the farthest jump to conclusions. I thought our relationship was in a good place, so this breakup came out of nowhere for me. The accusations were about things I'd consider minor, poop plus toys, and he couldn't accept the truth about either because it didn't make sense to him. I'm not sure what else I could have said to help things make sense to him or what could really be going on inside his head. Girl, good riddance. Don't even try to understand what's happening in his head because that is probably a very dark and scary place, and I'm very happy you got rid of him. You can find yourself some other guy who is not insane because this behavior is just absolutely astonishing. I don't even know what to say. The dude is a walking red flag, and never talk to him again if you can. Karen doesn't like that I removed my rose bushes, so I sent her on a goose chase. Been going on for a few weeks now. Long story short, I replaced my rose bushes in front of my house. My house. Not her house, but my house. You know, the one I own. Anyway, Karen comes over and knocks on my door and tells me she doesn't like that I removed the rose bushes, and I told Karen I don't care. She asked me to clarify what I said, and I said I don't give a what you think. Shocked, she goes, "You can't speak to me like that," to which I said, "Well, I just did." She goes, "Who do you work for?" These people, I swear to God, are the most ridiculous human beings alive. Quick thinking, I go, "Oh, I work for local HVAC company as a sales manager." She goes, "Oh, that's nice." 2 days later, Karen comes over and tells me that I've never worked for a local HVAC company, and I'm lying. I smile and go, "Oops, I forgot I just changed jobs. I work at a local digital agency." Karen goes off on her merry little way. 3 days later, she comes back and advises me it's a crime to lie to her about where I work at. It's a crime to lie to her. Who the are you, CIA or something? I mean, I'm pretty sure you can even lie to CIA and it's not illegal unless you're in an interrogation room. What little circus is going on in her head? She tells me I'm being super unprofessional. I laugh. Boys, I work for 100% work from home company that no one has ever heard of, and I haven't updated my LinkedIn since I started my job. Not even sure if it would be possible for a regular person to figure out who I work for. I go, fine, look, you can go complain to my boss if you want, but I'm the GM at a local Ford dealer. It's been 4 days. No, I don't work at the local Ford dealer. Karen hasn't come back. Sure hope the GM at the local Ford dealer doesn't share a similar name to mine. You know, Karen's stories are very fascinating to me because I would really like to know what's the root cause of this behavior. How do you even become like that? That's what my question is. I wonder if it's boredom or just some other problems. Sometimes it just seems like these women don't have anything going for them. They don't have anything to occupy their time with. So they decide to start the second war of the roses, but the garden kind. And it's just embarrassing and honestly pathetic. Next story is, am I the for answering a rude question with a rude question? I'm a happily married gay man, and yesterday I and my husband were at a friend's house celebrating their birthday. At the end of the party, a small group of people were sitting around the fire talking when a woman who I don't know, friend of a friend type of thing, asked me and my husband straight to our faces, so do you like being the S, or is it your husband? What is wrong with y'all? What is wrong? And before you all ask, no, she wasn't drunk. She was the designated driver. And I replied, do you like to all fours or on your back? She got mad and stormed off, calling me a prick. The audacity of this woman. At the time, everyone there laughed. Most were drunk, but the woman was my girlfriend's relative or something, and now he and his girlfriend are getting some backlash. He's mad at me now because even though what she said was offensive, I didn't need to stoop to her level. Honey, this is not kindergarten. You cannot just go and complain to the teacher about someone being mean to you in response to you being mean to them. This whole thing, like, go and punish him because he was mean to me when I was a first, is not working in the adult world. You around and you find out. If you don't know how to keep your mouth shut about certain things, and if you're overtly offensive, don't be surprised when people answer aggression to your aggression. I'm starting to feel bad about it. The last thing I wanted was to cause trouble for my friend. So am I the Oh, no, you were too nice in response, to be honest. I would be way more rude to her if she did that to me. She deserved it fully. She does not deserve any apologies because it was entirely her fault what she did. Don't even feel bad about it. Sometimes the things that people think are fine to say are just so confusing to me. How in the world do you think asking something like that is normal? Especially when this person is a stranger. Why? The last story for today is, am I the asshole for forcing my daughter to got a fish? I, 38, have two daughters, 13 and 10. They are wonderful, and when I was growing up, I had to learn a lot of life skills. My wife and I have been teaching them life skills such as cooking, cleaning, and car maintenance. My oldest is older, so she gets much more hands-on experience. This summer we went camping and she had to make the fire and tent, get the feel for it. We went fishing but didn't catch anything. I went to port and I bought a few whole fish. Not got it. We live on the ocean. This is a life skill. It's common to buy fish whole. If she wants to eat fish, she needs to know how to gut them. No, she doesn't. Took it home and was going to teach her how to process a whole fish. I think this is important to do and understand. It's a fish and she was grossed out, but I made her do it and then we cooked it. She went to my wife telling her I forced her to gut a fish. Well, yeah, when your dad does something ridiculous to you, your best bet is go and complain to your mom, because she's the only other adult who can do something about it, and hopefully the mom is not insane. This resulting in an argument about forcing the kids to do stuff, but it's a life skill and we force them to learn how to cook and do laundry. So I don't see the difference. She's mad at me and so is my oldest. You see, first thing I don't like about this post is I had to learn a lot of life skills growing up. It's giving me the vibes of those parents who suffered when they were younger, and for some reason this trauma stayed with them. They didn't know how to process it, and they cannot stand the thought that their children will have it better, so they are trying to impose this trauma on their children, even if the children don't have to go through that. You don't need to force your kids to do ridiculous things just because you had to do them. This makes me so angry, because why the would your daughter ever need to gut a fish if she doesn't want to? Breaking news, you can buy an already gutted fish and be happy about it. If your child doesn't want to do that, you're just like traumatizing them for no reason. Yes, cooking and cleaning is a life skill. It's good to prepare your kids for the grown-up life, but gutting a fish is not the same as laundry, because laundry, everyone has to do that. Well, mostly everyone. Fish gutting, completely unnecessary. It's a very extra thing. You can get other people to do it for you. You can be a vegetarian or vegan and not eat fish. To me, this just seems like a person who wanted to make his daughter suffer because I said so. And I think it's dumb. So you're the and this was the last story about absurd people that I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, though I doubt it, I'll see you with another video real soon. Bye.